God's evening all. Welcome to SMO HCGK TV. I'm Brother William Valentino. Tonight we'll be continuing our series on the book of Revelations. Tonight we'll be covering chapter 2, verses 11 through 15. So if you like it, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And hit the notification bell, which will give you a notice every time a podcast is put up. Yeah. Go. 2 verse 11 ends on his sermon to the church in Samaria. He says, "He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt." Is that God? Now God is speaking through his angel, saying, let the people hear my word, and let them know that even though whatever troubles they go through in this world, persecution, death, they will have no suffering in the second life, which means once you die and pass on, you'll be in paradise. So what greater reward is that? So stay faithful, stay the course. On chapter 12, it now switches over to the church and Pergamos. And verse 12, "And to the angel of the churches in Pergamos write, these things that he with has the sharp sword and two edges. He's warning people. Many people, including a lot of, I call them priests, about the best I can think of, will say one thing, but do the opposite. God's warning them, you must adhere strictly to my commandments and my word. Don't do as I say and not as I do. They all must always be the same. Okay, 13, "I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is. And thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein at Pius, under my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwelt." Now he's saying that there are people in the church who are not doing God's work. They're working more towards Satan. Beware of these people. Do not follow their beliefs. It will not lead you to heaven, but the other direction. And also that one of the holy men who was faithful was recently killed, executed for his faith. And we all know that his reward for his faithfulness and steadfast belief that he gets a seat in heaven. So praise be to God. And 14, "I have but a few things against thee, because thou hast there among them that hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before his children of Israel, to eat things that were sacrificed under idols, and to commit fornication." This was an early Christian sect. Back on the first several decades, at least in the 1st century AD, there was at least a dozen known Christian sects, in which eventually became known as the Church of Rome, as the one who prevailed, whose doctrine is that we follow today. There was one sect that had an orgy after every gathering. Now that's not doing God's work. That's doing the devil's work. And try to force people to Now, we know the Israelites, the Hebrews, the Jews, whatever you wish to call them, are God's chosen. To try to force them to eat something that's unclean, as animals that were sacrificed to the pagan idols, that is a great insult. You know that in His commandments, thou shalt not worship false idols. And this is one of the unforgivable sins. You do not partake in it, and you do not force others in doing so. By forcing others to do it, you're as guilty as having done it yourself. Goes finally, 15. So hast thou among them that hold the doctrine of Nicolaitans, which things I hate. That was the name of one of the sects that disappeared. That disappeared during the first century. By the late first century, there were still some of them, at least small groups of individuals that still practice this doctrine, which the church had outlawed as unbiblical and not adhering to doctrine. So that's really it for tonight. I'm hoping that maybe Saturday I can cover verses 16 through 20. If not Saturday, it might be Monday or Tuesday. I'm shooting for Saturday on the next podcast. So if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell. You'll receive a notification. There were another podcast. It might be me, it might be somebody else. But I pray that you all have a blessed night, and God bless all.